Hello, everybody out there. We are waiting for Janet to get back and then we'll start. Sorry for the late select board meeting start. We've had a longer than anticipated, maybe not longer than anticipated, but a long budget workshop.
Yeah.
Here's Janet. Select board meeting called to order. We have a quorum. It's in fact a full house. First order of business is to accept the minutes of the March 17th regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Warren, second by Shay. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Phil, please.
Gabe McHale, shouldn't that be Gabe McPhail? Page 2. Third paragraph.
McPhail, indeed,
Page 2.
right under suitable rise, it says Gabe McHale.
Yes, good
Oh,
catch.
my
Good
hearing.
catch.
Phil is,
On it.
PHAIL.
it's. Other than that, any other corrections or suggestions? Subject to correction, motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Phil, second by Melissa, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay, on to visitor comments and petitions. Is there anybody here on the call who has a comment or a petition that is not on the agenda already? Who do we have here? I see Melissa, Mert, Jim Mitchell, Dave Petzel. Do we want to I'd entertain a motion to go out of order to address some of the things people are here for on the call.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Phil, second by Lauren. Any discussion? No, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's go ahead and take up the Little Free Libraries and Melissa Olson. Melissa, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. So thanks. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So thank you. I just want to say I was there an hour ago and you guys just worked so hard, and on behalf of the town, I want to thank you for all the work that you do. So I am here for the Alice L. Pendleton Library, and I think we all know, we've all heard of the little free libraries around the country and around the world, I believe. I think it started about 10 or 15 years ago. And the idea, in my opinion, is access to books basically 24/7. Normally, these libraries, they say you take a book, you give a book. But I think that we can tweak things to our own purposes. I'm coming to the select board because I would like to, we have 4 little libraries that are already constructed. I think you can see one of them in the room. Ren Provey and Isabel Jackson constructed these, volunteered many hours of their time. And now what needs to happen is them to be painted and then placed. So I'm here to ask permission to place these little libraries around the island. And I wanted to start here because I think that these libraries need to be on municipal property rather than public. So what I would like to propose for locations of these libraries are Town Beach, Big Tree, Matty Dodge, and the town office. I have been led to understand that there is a private entity that is a friend of the Sillies who is going to construct a little library in honor of Heather Silly, who passed away. I have spoken with this individual a couple of times. I haven't seen the design. I really know nothing about that project, so I'm not going to get involved in it. But it would be great to have a little library at the ferry. We had, as you know, we had books at the ferry terminal many years ago, but then they were removed. It's my understanding that this little library would be outside of the office terminal, so there wouldn't be any interference in that capacity. Also, it is my understanding that another private individual is going to approach the community center and have a little library there. So I have spoken with Janet. We have 4 of these little libraries. I've spoken with Janet and she said that, you know, I need to approach the select board and see what you all think of it. And if you have, you know, any concerns, I would be happy to address those.
Great, thank you for showing up tonight. I think little libraries are great. The locations of Town Beach, Big Tree, Matty Dodge, and the town office all seem reasonable to me. I support it personally. I'll throw it out to the select board for comments, questions, thoughts.
I think it's a great idea. I don't know that we have to vote on it.
To the well, I don't know that we have to vote on it, but to the extent I would a motion to approve those locations for tiny libraries or little libraries.
So moved.
Do we have any municipal areas up island? And they kind of use the swap shop like that.
You can't leave books, you actually
No.
aren't allowed to leave books there, I don't think. They accept books.
I don't think so either.
Well, I mean, from a proximity perspective, I would love to see an up island location as well.
Okay.
but-
I think it's.
Well, I'm
wonderful.
sorry, I couldn't hear that last comment of Melissa Burns.
All right, I was trying to figure out if we had any municipal areas up island.
Oh,
That way we
oh,
could-
yeah.
Read, that way anybody up there would also have access to it when they're walking or going through. And so that's what we were trying to think of. And
Okay.
the transfer station was about the only place that we could think of off the top of our head.
What was at the transfer station? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing, but yeah, so I am actually up for suggestions. The transfer station had been mentioned, but then there was a question of, I think it can be overcome. My reasoning for picking these locations, at least the first 3, Town Beach, Big Tree, and Matty Dodge, is if people were just like recreating or lounging, that they could just grab a book and read. That wouldn't necessarily happen at the town office or the transfer station, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't have them there.
I think it would be great to have one at the transfer station too. I mean, these are all areas where you have a lot of people filing through all the time. I mean, perhaps,
Outside the gate, maybe.
yeah, maybe, I think it might be worth, I don't know if you are open to even adding another small library at the transfer station?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think it would be amazing to have this island dotted. I just want to, you know, promote literacy and that sort of thing. So yes, I'm definitely open. I just wanted to definitely make sure that we worked with the town to not be in the way of maintenance or the snowplow or anything like that. So I'm completely open to suggestions, comments, concerns.
Will these be on stands or something?
Right, so posts. And there has been a question of, would they be removed in the wintertime? Which I think would be really difficult. I probably would remove I don't know if I would remove the books over the winter. The books would be checked periodically. And these little libraries are theoretically weatherproof. So I guess that's up for debate, but yes, they would be on posts.
Well, I think it's a great idea, and I think adding one on, so all of these locations, I think you're gonna have to work with perhaps Janet or Public Works or at the transfer station, Jeff, to make sure that we're putting them in appropriate locations so that we're not getting into where they're otherwise, whatever is happening at those locations, but I'm confident that you can find a reasonable place at all the locations. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve those locations and to the extent that it's needed, just so you can feel you have town support.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Lauren, second by Shay. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Melissa.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.
There are several other folks here. We have Mert, Jim, and Dave. Is there anything that on the agenda that you are here for specifically? Perhaps the town website policy?
Not anything specific. I'm just listening. Just a fly on the wall. Thank you.
No problem. So with that, I would entertain a motion to go back into order. Moved by
Second.
Phil, second by Melissa. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are back in order. Ferry service update. There is no update. I did talk to John King today, who is back on the island. I hope to ask him to show up and give a more detailed update about the ferry service advisory board and finance subcommittee. I think he would be a good person to do that. And now that he's back, I think it's a more useful thing in person. And I suspect he would be willing to show up at a select board meeting and further the conversation. But other than that, I don't have any updates. Anybody have any questions or concerns?
When's the next meeting? Advisory board?
I think it's a couple months away now. I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe it's not until perhaps June even. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Hearing none. Sea level rise update, Shay.
The next committee meeting is next Thursday, the 7th. And on Friday, the 8th, we have a meeting with DOT to start talking about how to work together on Grindle Point, which is very exciting. We did get an updated proposal from Haley Ward to create, do some additional work to evaluate the Narrows. Basically, creating a plan for different scenarios at like 1.5 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 8 feet, to help us do a better job of kind of doing a cost benefit analysis of how much it's going to cost to, what is it, how do their recommendations change under these different scenarios, and what does the cost breakdown look like from those different things. So we have not yet formally signed that agreement. I'm sure it will come to the board before we did that, but it's something we're gathering questions from the committee right now to hopefully go back to the committee and finalize something. And we got a fellow.
Great. All the way around. Great. Anybody have any questions, thoughts for Shay before we move on? Hearing none. There is a planning board meeting on April 11th. Next, town manager's report.
All right, I've sent you under new business copies of the invitations to bid the roadside mowing and the landfill septage. I've sent you a draft, which we'll discuss, the draft schedule for the board meetings, changing it back to Wednesdays, and deciding a time. And Melissa's 3 libraries, request to change the Health and Safety Building Project Committee name to the Municipal Building Project Committee. The draft policy on use of the town's website by boards and committees. Review Grindle Point parking fees or revenue. A notice from the Coast Guard about the certificate of inspection for the Margaret Chase Smith on April 6th. Minutes of the March 8th Lighthouse Restoration Committee meeting. Today, I put in your file minutes from the December 28th Housing Committee meeting, along with the warrant and the recap. I think that's all for me.
Any questions before we move on? Hearing none, there is no old business, new business, open and award roadside mowing contract and the landfill and septic field mowing contract. Who wants to do the honors? What?
Do we have them?
It's on Phil.
One
I'll
each.
take the, I have the cover sheet. If you want to open them, I will
Yeah. mark
down.
Drum roll.
Only two this year, it appears. So road sign.
This is Gil Rivera, roadside mowing.
Roadside mowing. Okay, this is a little confusing the way the cover sheet. Okay,
It's a memo to Janet. It says that he can mow the roadside for $4,500 a year, or $9,000 for a 2-year commitment.
And he wants to remove the airport mowing from the roadside mowing, which I'm fine with doing that, amending that. and
okay, who's gonna mow the
finding someone
airport?
else. I will ask Bob Acorn.
Did Bob bid on this, that one?
No, he only bid, and it's like they have done the last few years, Bob
They-
has just done.
Oh, that's why this is set like this. This is
Yes.
why the sheet, cover sheet is not, they're not bidding against each other.
No, they each just bid for their area.
Okay.
Bob Acorn
It all makes more sense now.
bidding on landfill and seepage mowing. The bid is for $6,200 for a 2-year contract.
So $3,100 a year.
3-year for me.
Yeah.
Says $1 million, but that's.
Oh,
I'll do it.
No way, Bob.
It looks like with that, there's only one bid for each. What was roadside mowing before, Jamie?
Roadside mowing, so it's been 5,500,
And so it's less, but he wants to do less.
correct. So I had budgeted, and now you may want to change this, as I said when I got the bid. I had bid 5,600, thinking he would go up from the 5,500.
But we don't really know what it's gonna cost to mow the airport either.
No, I mean, I think
You have a
that's like
commitment?
$1,100 more dollars. I don't think it needs to be. I mean, we can maybe take it down to 5,000, that roadside mowing.
Let's take it down to 5,000. Any objection? Down to 5,000. Now septic field, what was that one before?
Septic field was
3,100 a year, which strikes me as lower than it has
6,200.
been, although I can't necessarily remember. 3,500 was it last year?
Septic. Septic mowing has. Transfer station, I guess I've had it in there. He bid $2,800 last year, and this year I had anticipated 3. So what did it go up to?
31.
31? So I'll make that 3,100.
Let's do that. 31.
I like it. Quick,
Let's line the
easy.
budget up.
We got it.
Line it up. We know the numbers. I would entertain a motion to approve those bids. Moved by
Second.
Shay, second by Melissa. Any discussion? All in favor? Great, they're approved.
Thank
Next
you.
on the agenda is discussing changing select board meeting dates and times. This has come up because we are now in conflict with the school board meetings, and it seems to be better for everybody to not have them on the same night. There are individuals who want to attend both. We had previously had meetings on Wednesday, but changed to accommodate schedules now. I think we talked about potentially moving back to Wednesday. Shay, does that work with your schedule?
It does. With a preference for moving it later to like 6 o'clock start.
6 o'clock start on Wednesdays. Does that work for everybody? Is anybody unhappy?
Why is everybody looking at me? I'm happy with whatever.
Tina and I are unhappy. But just means we have to hang around here.
Tina's unhappy.
Tina's
As a
gonna-
non-voting member, unfortunately.
And we're both non-voting, so.
I mean, we can
Doesn't
keep it at 5:30. it's more likely that I will be late. So,
I think 6 o'clock is a reasonable time. I'm sorry if that really messes with Tina and Janet's schedule.
All right, so Wednesdays, and that's what so I'll redo these and get them out to everybody in the world. And
Entertain a motion to approve the time change to Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, and with the understanding we're gonna have to, I would guess, modify based on holidays, depending on when the holiday, maybe not. I can't.
I think it's pretty
Whatever.
good.
Okay, maybe we're not gonna, but we might, we can address that when we get there to those holidays, but.
Is there any other committees that we're bumping into?
So that doesn't start till next January though. No.
Wait,
Starts in
I was
November?
thinking it was gonna, well, you tell me. when
That's
you
fine.
Want this to start.
April's fine.
So at our next meeting?
Yes, I thought you said next year. Wait, no, I gotta start in April.
April.
start
Okay.
April. Entertain that motion. Do we already have a motion?
No.
No.
So moved.
Moved by Phil,
Second.
second by Lauren. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Meetings have been changed. We already discussed the Little Free Library. Next order of business is approve the committee name change from Health and Safety Building Project Committee to Municipal Building Project Committee.
so moved.
Moved by Shay, second by Melissa. Is there any discussion about this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Committee name is changed. Review town attorney draft policy on use of the town's website by boards and committees. This came up in response to the discussion about the Lighthouse Committee's website. Where is this? I've reviewed this. I don't see it. There was a change that I wanted to make.
It's up there,
It's
like,
up here. Let me see.
So to
Please, go
me,
ahead.
this reads that the Brindle Point Lighthouse cannot do what we just said that they could do. But perhaps I'm reading that wrong.
what did you say they
So
could
this to
do?
me says that no, they can't, that no one can have and establish a website identity in the name of or on behalf of the town or any board or committee separate or apart from the town website. That kind of, the last sentence in the first paragraph,
Yeah,
to me. But that also doesn't make sense to me because the library has their own website. It doesn't seem like we are abiding by this.
Pesticides also has its own website.
So.
What it is a link, right, from the town's website to their website.
is it going to be a link? Yeah, and I think the issue of fundraising came up. I don't think you want them fundraising on their, what do you call it, a private site. But
Yeah, they wanted a donate button on the site.
So for example, if you have the Friends of the Library can have their own website, right? You can't.
and they're a
have this-
501,
But the library has their own website, not just the
well, The library has. its
Yeah.
own.
yeah,
And that's, so there's
Let's-
two different things. There's one thing would be if the library had their presence on the town website, which they do, but they then have a link to their own website. So that doesn't contradict this rule. It's just on the website, they can't do X, Y, Z. But they can have a link to a website that could do other things.
That's not how I read this.
No,
Yeah.
they can get to the website any way they want, just Google it. They don't have to go through the town.
No, but if they went to the town website and it said, pesticides committee, and a few statements that fit with this, dictate right here, but they had a link to their own, would that be in contradiction to this?
It appears that it would.
Then I
So-
think I have a problem with it too, because the current website does not allow for a lot of options. You could say any town website cannot do certain things, but to not have a link that goes to a much more
So how,
sophisticated
how much
website.
control does the town want to have over the various websites of various committees,
And
of
who's gonna do it?
organizations? So one of the questions I had was exactly what you mentioned, Tina, and I think if we're going to do something like that, we need to have the ability to not have it be just the town clerk or the town. It can be someone designated by the town, because there are folks in the community who might want to make those websites. And perhaps if they were designated by the town to do that, that would be totally fine. We don't want to put all the onus, yes, burden on Tina or whoever in the town might do that. But where we are now, this would essentially foreclose the library's website and what they were talking about doing with the lighthouse. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it, I guess. I don't have a strong opinion. It doesn't seem like a bad thing to have everything on the town's website, although I do think if that's the direction we're heading for a lot more time, energy, and money in the town website, because I don't think it's really adequate to deal with that right now.
And the town website needs a lot of work.
A lot of.
Luckily, Tina's got all the time.
And we need a new server.
So,
Is the email still screwed up?
I think it's fixed. It's just all in the
Oh, it is?
separate.
Do we maintain the server that our website is on locally?
let's hope not.
Page does that.
So we ought to have a broader conversation about technology. Generally speaking, there's probably zero reason for the town to have a server. Everything ought to be outsourced, from email to website hosting to, there's no good reason to do it in-house. There's no way that, there just isn't, I don't believe.
It's not efficient.
Yeah. That's not a conversation for now. It's not on the
No.
agenda, but it's something that I think is true, and we can have a conversation about it in the future.
But the content of the website, what you can or cannot do on the website, if you're talking about a donation button, that's different from where it's housed, where.
Yeah, I don't think that we're ever gonna allow, certainly an unaffiliated website to have a donation button that's linked to a town bank account. That, I don't believe is gonna happen.
Is that what they wanted to do?
Yes, that's not gonna happen, but, I don't know.
Do you want to ask Dave something about this? Because he emailed me this afternoon saying, is our website including a request for donations appropriate under this statement? I hope so. Tina just sent out our committee's agenda and website link.
Well, the website itself, I don't think is allowed under that. So,
Not under
and
that.
I don't think, I certainly am not in favor of having a donation button that's linked to a town bank account. It strikes me as,
Dangerous.
dangerous.
And right now, the way they have it is down at the bottom, it says make donations to the town
Right.
and mail them
That's-
to us.
Yeah, and that's historic, we do that for other organizations. The IESC receives donations through the town. That's a fine thing. It requires some extra bookkeeping on the town side, but the town can facilitate that. But a direct donation to a town account is problematic.
And a withdrawal.
And a withdrawal, probably even.
Yeah, that's
withdrawal.
a
Withdrawal, yeah.
But philosophically, I support the Lighthouse Committee maintaining their own website, keeping their content up to date, and so that's why I would not support this policy as drafted, because I don't think it allows that.
I agree.
Great, let's reject the policy and move on.
What are you telling him about the donations then?
We're not gonna have a donation button. We're not,
Say that to him.
The way that you currently have it is good. Mail them in if you have it. and-
right, yeah, if they wanna mail it to the town, we're happy to facilitate and put that money aside for that purpose. We just can't have a direct link on the website, or even on the town's website for that matter. I don't think we wanna do that.
So moved. So moved.
Great, Dave concurs, so
I like it.
we don't have to have a motion since we're not gonna adopt that policy. Review parking fees at Grindle Point. This is something that we just talked about briefly during the budget committee meeting. I don't know if it's worth having a conversation at all right now, if this ought to be part of a larger conversation regarding all revenue streams for the town.
I say later conversation.
Later conversation. Any objections?
Kick that cake.
Down the road it goes.
No, actually, sit there and go through it.
Kicking.
I have a really
It's
horrible
down the
feeling
road, we
that
don't
it's
know
gonna
how
be-
far, but it will catch up to it someday.
It's gonna be me that ends up
Other-
on this fee thing. That's like, I'm like, give me a minute.
Melissa has agreed to take
No.
on the,
Blasphemy, blasphemy.
there's no other business. Next order of business is approving the warrant. Do we have a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Melissa, second by Lauren. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. There are no appointments today. Chair comments, no comments today. Vice Chair Shay.
No comments. I'm excited that we are nearing the end of a budget. What hopefully will be a good budget that takes a moderate approach between investing in big projects and keeping things affordable.
But isn't that a comment?
All right, yeah, right. Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Objection. Objection noted by Phil. Melissa. No comments. Let's see. Lauren.
One comment, I'm happy to be back.
Great, we're happy to have you back. And Phil gets the last word today.
Time to go home.
Go home. All in
Can I
favor?
ask you a question? Are you setting a date for this next budget workshop on the health center?
Well, Dory needs to be there, so per schedule, it's sort of,
So are you thinking an afternoon when she's here? Or you want her just to call and zoom in?
I think
I would prefer in person.
So it'll be some afternoon, at 3 o'clock maybe? Like between next Monday through Thursday?
I don't feel great about 3 o'clock.
No. Well, she leaves on the 4:30, so I mean, she's got the
Depends on when she
3:30.
has patience too.
Yeah, we just would book that out. 3:30?
Is next week when there's a school board meeting on a Thursday?
Yes.
If it's easier than just do it by phone.
Or Wednesday, I mean,
Thinking-
doesn't have.
I'm just wondering if we could piggyback with
Oh,
a
yes, the quick
Oh,
silver one.
Quicksilver
Yeah, there'll be a quick
on
silver for the school.
Thursday.
Thursday, that is
They
the
usually do it.
7th.
Let's see if that works with Dory's schedule.
I will not be here
I might not be able to
to
make
run that.
that. I'll be back for
Carrie
sea
might.
level rise, but not much earlier than that.
All right, I'll start with her with the date. And it would be, say, then 5 o'clock. What time's the school? Is this interfering with the school still?
Oh, later I could do.
What, I don't know
Shay, what time will
is-
you see level
what
rise
time
get
is-
done?
I don't have, 5, it'll be done at 5.
Okay, and at what time does the school start?
5:30.
5:30. Well, how about 5 o'clock to 5:30? Is that,
Oh, because then she's stuck waiting for the schools to be over.
well, I think she
And
can
so-
find things to do. So 5 to 5:30, April 7th, if this works with Dory, right?
Maybe
Do you
like
think a half
5:15.
hour is gonna?
Give her much time.
Why does she have to be gone? Why do we have to end at 5?
I don't know, is something with the school? Will Melissa have to be
No.
here?
No,
Oh, all right, so
I'm here.
what time do you want to start? I'll start. over.
5:15.
Is that good?
Yeah,
All right, 5:15
And an hour.
and 1 hour. Yeah, that's too long.
Adjourned.
They remind me.